This case starts off like any normal virtual hearing, but within seconds, it turns into one of the most unbelievable courtroom moments you'll ever see. A defendant facing a suspended license charge casually joins the court, while driving. Yes, driving. What follows is a chain reaction of legal consequences, contradictions, and a judge who isn't letting anything slide. Stick around, because this one spirals fast, and the outcome gets even more intense.
What are we doing today? Court calls case People versus Corey Harris.
There's several options that my client.
Well, and I want you to know, counsel,
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Tate for Mr. Harris, who should be
because of
present.
certain things, the court has a number of things I have to
Mr.
say.
Harris, are you driving?
Because I think the record.
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually.
Some of Mr. Harris's
just give me 1 second.
I'm
parking right now.
To this court potentially acting, what at least as I'm to understand is on what some may be.
You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
Saying, and quite frankly, claiming.
What are we doing?
Your Honor, we are respectfully requesting an adjournment in this
as well
matter,
as this court was
possibly
acting on
2 to 4 weeks
some
the court
type
would allow.
of defective or faulty information, which I will tell you, counsel, caused the court, given what the court.
So maybe I don't understand something.
To investigate.
This is a driver while license suspended.
That is correct, Your Honor.
And I will tell you,
and he was just driving.
That assertion
and
is absolutely
he didn't have a license.
With reference to any faulty information that either came through to the Pittsfield Township Department of Public Safety.
Is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
Ultimately,
no, I'm looking at his record. He doesn't have a license.
And I think
he's suspended and he's just driving.
I've been asked for comments. I have refrained from comments as is my normal practice is. This court with the pending case will speak on the record. And so I am going to make sure that the record is very, very clear as to what this court knows and what this court acted on May 15th. And we can start with this. And my basis for doing it is because of what was said about what this whole process was.
Hello?
And that an indication, counsel.
I'm in, Mr. Harris.
And I know, counsel, you've been before me before.
Absolutely.
I know it is not coming from you, but you also know how I am.
I do.
And the thing is that if for whatever reason, the one time in my life I was.
Let's pause right here, because this is where things go from bad to worse for Mr. Harris. The judge has just revoked his bond, meaning the court no longer trusts him to remain free while the case continues. And legally, that's huge. Why? Because bond is based on compliance and credibility. The moment the judge sees him actively committing the same offense, driving without a license, during a court hearing, that credibility is gone. Now think about this. If you were already in trouble for driving without a license, would you really log into court while driving again? That's not just risky, that's practically inviting stricter consequences. And here's the bigger question for you watching. Do you think the judge acted too quickly here, or was this completely justified given the situation?
Wrong.
I don't even know why he would do that.
And did.
So defendant's bond is revoked in this matter.
And when people are not
turn himself
blame,
into the Washington County Jail by
then
6
it also
p.m.
needs
today.
to be said.
Failure to turn himself in will resolve.
So I will try to get through this as quick as I possibly can. But I will tell you, first of all, with any reference to your client,
Your Honor. Mr. Harris, I'll be giving you a call.
Okay.
And some indication of misunderstanding as to whether or not he had a license. Let me make it very clear, based upon the report with that, he has never had a license, ever, and has never had a license in the other 49 states that form up this court. He has never had a license. In point of fact, when they suspended his license, and what people don't understand, when they suspended his license in Saginaw, they don't suspend the license. They suspend
Good afternoon. May it please this honorable court, Deion Webster Cox, appearing on behalf.
For example, if he had had a Kentucky license,
Your Honor?
He would be able to drive everywhere that
see.
Kentucky would allow him to drive. He just couldn't drive in Michigan because his privileges had been.
Mr. Brown, or somebody from
I know
PD's
you know
office,
that.
because I did not get a substitution. I got an appearance.
That wasn't at all said, but it doesn't matter because he didn't have
then I don't
a
need
license.
to address.
ever. There's
I
also
don't need
been,
to address
and
the
you know,
public
I
defender's
will, when
motion
it
to
is
withdraw.
necessary, come to the defense
I'll
of my
consider
sister
that
courts, and I will come to the
given the
defense of Saginaw.
substitution.
They got a great chief
I
judge.
do have
Chief
an
judge answered the
appearance.
question.
I will sign
But I will
off
tell
on the
you,
substitution.
that court
Thank you.
and its friend of the
Thank you.
court did
All right.
nothing wrong.
What are we doing today?
So,
His
Your
license
Honor, we were
was
going
his
to,
driving
there's several
privileges,
options
better
that
state.
my client,
Well, and
were
I want you to know,
unsuspended in
Counsel,
2022.
that
That
because of
required
certain
Mr.
things,
Harris to
the court
do
has a
something.
number of things I have to say.
okay,
Because
Didn't
I
do
have,
it.
because I think the record,
Therefore, the friend of the court was under
Given
no obligation to send anything to the
particularly some
Secretary
of
of State.
Mr. Harris's comments,
Now, I hated that I had to
with
look at
reference
this, but when there's a
to
question as to what I
this
did,
court
I'm going to look at
potentially
everything to make
acting
sure that what I did was all in order.
what at least as I'm
There's
to
then an
understand
indication
is
from
on
that,
what some may
that
be,
because that wasn't sent,
or is it, let's put it
there
this
was
way.
a direct attack
People
on Michigan's
are
Department
saying,
of
and quite
Secretary of
frankly, your
State's
client
office,
has made the
saying that the Secretary of State was
Pittsfield
somehow at
Township,
fault.
as well as this court, was
Let me tell you
acting
something.
on some
Secretary of
type
State
of
did what
defective
they
or
were
faulty
supposed to do. And
information,
in point of fact,
which I
they
will
did
tell you,
nothing
counsel,
because they hadn't gotten anything from the court because
caused the
Mr. Harris had
court,
not paid
given what
the
the
reinstatement.
court did, to investigate
This week or latter
what,
part
my
of last
ruling.
week, once he paid that,
And I will tell you
Saginaw
that
friend of the court
that
did what they
assertion
should do and they sent it.
is absolutely
Immediately, based
correct.
upon the information that I have, the Secretary
With
of
reference
State did
to
what
any
they
faulty
do
information
every
that
day.
either came through to the Pittsfield Township
They
Department
took
of
that
Public Safety
suspension off of his
or to
driving
this court
record.
ultimately at the May
And he was
15th
then
hearing.
unsuspended.
And I
And
think it needs to
then
be stated,
your
I've been asked
client
for comments. I have
did what
refrained
he
from
needed
comments
to
as
do
my
with
normal
reference to the
practice
Secretary of
is.
State and paid a
This
reinstatement.
court with the pending case will speak on the record. And so I
Just a
am
second,
going to make
Mr.
sure that
Mr.
the
Schiller,
record
I'll
is
let,
very,
I'm going to
very
let
clear
everybody respond because
as
Thank
to what
you.
this
I
court
am
knows
not done yet.
and what
Okay.
this court
All right.
acted on May
You covered a lot
15th.
of the points for me. Thank you, Your Honor.
And we can start
so
with this, and my
that
basis
came
for
down to
doing
that.
it
So the
is because of
information
what
at
was
the
said
time about what
that
I
this whole
had,
process was.
that Pittsfield
And
Department
that
of Public Safety
an
had,
indication counsel
was all
and
correct. I know,
at
Counsel,
the
you've been
time
before me.
of
I know it is
both
not coming
Pittsfield
from you.
stop,
But you
as
also
well
know
as
how
the
I
May
am.
15th.
I do.
And the
It was
thing
all
is that
correct. There was
if for
no
whatever
error
reason,
by
the one
anybody.
time in my life I was wrong, I will say it.
It was a
And
failure
did.
on the part of Mr. Harris
But when
to
I'm
do
not wrong,
certain things.
and when people
Now,
are not to
I
blame,
grant you that
then it
sometimes
also
that can be a
needs to be said.
complicated process. But it was certainly
So
not
I will try to
anybody's
get through
fault
this as quick as I
that
possibly
that
can.
didn't happen.
But I
Other
will
than
tell
that
you,
wasn't
first of
paid.
all,
Now, with any
here's the other thing, and
reference
to your client having
Well, I'm
had
gonna
a
be in
license
church where I say I'm
on
I'll
that day.
finish now. But
And some
the other part
indication
of
or
this is-
misunderstanding as to whether or not he had a license.
this
Let
stop
me make
was
it
in
very
October.
clear, based upon what the court looked at, he has never had
Most
a
of the
Michigan
cases that
license,
we've heard
ever,
just in this last afternoon.
and has
driving
never
while
had a license in the other
suspended cases,
49
that's
states and
part of my
commonwealths
Wednesday effort.
that form up this great union. He has never
We're
had
through
a
great
license.
pains to try to get people
In
their
point of
licenses
fact,
back,
when
which is
they
really how it should
suspended
happen.
his license, and what people don't understand,
Between
when
October
they suspended his license in Saginaw, they don't suspend the
and
license.
because I
They
don't
suspend the
live
privilege
under a
to
rock,
drive in this
I
state.
actually watch things.
Hence, for example,
very
if he had
nice
had a
on TV.
Kentucky
Thank you.
license,
You're welcome.
he would be able to drive everywhere that Kentucky would
There was
allow him
something
to
that
drive.
was
He just
said
couldn't drive in Michigan.
It was
because his
very
privileges had
disturbing
been
to me.
restricted.
And I'm just going to let you know
I
because
know
I
you
believe
know
to be
that.
clear with everybody.
But that wasn't
Question
at
was
all
asked
said. But it doesn't
along the
matter
lines
because
between
he
October
didn't have a license
2023
ever. There is also
and
then
the point in time of the May 15th
you know,
hearing.
I will, when it is necessary,
Was there
come
an
to the
attempt
defense
by
of my
Mr.
sister courts, and I
Harris
will come to the defense of
to
Saginaw. They got a great
correct
chief judge
his
answered the
license?
question. But I will tell you, that court
Here's the part
and
that was
its friend of the
disturbing for me,
court
so
did
that you know.
nothing
Okay.
wrong.
Mr. Harris
His
indicated
license
that
was
at some
his
point he had
driving
been involved in
privileges,
some accident.
better stated, were
And being
unsuspended
involved
in
into the accident, that
2022.
he was basically bedridden,
That
and he's
required
housebound.
Mr. Harris
He could
to
not
do
get to the
something.
Secretary of State.
He didn't do it. Therefore, the friend of the
That was
court was
set
under
up there.
no
and I
obligation
think
to
I
send
don't-
anything to the
I'm
Secretary
going to
of State.
presume because I don't
Now, I hated that
My
I had to
knowledge of
look at all
counsel,
of this, but when there's a question as to what I
defense
did,
counsel is,
I'm going to look at
I know
everything to
you
make sure
don't
that what I
misrepresent
did was
anything.
all in order.
Right.
You never did. There's then an indication from that.
That's not true.
Okay.
Because that wasn't sent,
He
there
purposely
was a
stated
direct
that he
attack
could not
on
get to
Michigan's
the
Department of Secretary of
Which,
State
for the way we handle things in
saying
this
that the
court, would have
Secretary of
placed him
State
in
in
a
a
whole
whole
different
different
category.
category. We would have tried to find a way.
Let me tell you
figure
something.
it out. Secretary of State did what they were supposed
And
to
the
do.
reason
In point
I
of
know
fact,
that
they did nothing because they hadn't
is
gotten
because
anything
Mr.
from the court
Harris,
because Mr. Harris
on
had not
December
paid
28th of
the reinstatement.
2023, do you know where you were?
This week or the latter part of last week, once he paid that, Saginaw friend of the court did what they should do.
2023.
Immediately, based upon the information that I have, the Secretary
I
of State
know I
did
was
what they do every day.
I was laid up from my
They
accident.
took
at the
that
Secretary of
suspension
State's
off
office.
of his driving record.
And you were at the Secretary of State's office.
he
because
was
you
then
unsuspended.
And then your client did what he needed to do
And
with
got
reference to the
your
Secretary of State
new
and paid a
Michigan ID. I have the date.
Just a second, Mr.
That's
Schiller.
the
I'm
date
going
you
to
did it.
let everybody respond because
December 28th,
I
2023.
am not done
You
yet.
did.
Okay.
So
right.
that you also know.
You're covering a lot of the points for me.
In all
Thank you.
fairness to counsel,
And
because I don't know if
so
counsel knows this or
that
not.
came down to
The
that.
way I know
so
that he's
the
never had a
information
license
at the time
is because May 3rd, 19,
That-
he's never.
I had
He was 19 at the time.
that Pittsfield
May
Department
3rd,
of Public Safety
1999.
had
He applied for
was
his
all
first Michigan
correct.
ID.
at the time of
Counsel
both
knows
Pittsfield
Strike
stop
you
as
cannot
well
have
as
both.
the May 15th day.
You either have an
It
ID
was
or you
all
have a
correct.
license.
There
One
was
of the
no
two.
error by anybody.
He has religiously every
It was
year
a failure on the part of Mr. Harris to do certain things. Now,
gotten
I
a
grant
new
you
ID.
that sometimes that can be a complicated
And
process.
so he
But it was
knows
certainly not
that he
anybody's
doesn't
fault
have a license.
that didn't happen, other than that wasn't
And quite
paid.
frankly, I just
Now,
wish he would have said
here's
that
the other
at
thing,
the
and I'm-
beginning.
And all of this
And I may
hoopla
be
could have been
encouraged
just
to
put
I'll
all
finish
aside.
that.
But the
And
other
we
part
all
of
go
this
through the
is
process as we do with all of the people coming here to try to get him
the
his license.
stop was in October.
But his falsehoods, most of the
His
cases that
statements
we've heard just in this
are
last
not going to
afternoon
fare
driving
well
while
in
license
this court.
suspended cases. That's part of my Wednesday.
I'm
effort.
done for now. We go through great
I'm sure I
pains
will
to try
have
to get
something
people
else
their
to say.
licenses back. Whichever one of you would like
Which
to
is
speak
really
first.
how it should happen.
I'll wait to go last.
Between October
Yes, I spent yesterday at
and
the
because
Pittsfield
I
County
don't
Police Department
live
with
under
Officer
a rock,
Monaster
I actually watch
from
things.
traffic stop in
You
this
look
case.
very nice on TV.
Thank
I
you.
also
You're
noticed the December 28th, 2023
There was something
date,
that
and
was
I know
said
the significance of that.
that was
and
very
we'll just went through
disturbing
that painstakingly,
And I'm just going to
thank
let you
for that.
know because I believe in being fair.
In addition, at the traffic stop,
The question was
when I was at the
asked
police department yesterday, we
on the
watched the
lines
body cam
between October
at least twice during this
2023
traffic stop. He acknowledged to the officer that he
and the
did not have
point
a
in
valid
time
license.
of the May 15th hearing.
Quote unquote.
Was there an
quote,
attempt by
actually,
Mr.
I don't have a
Harris
valid license.
to
Close quote.
correct?
The question was,
His
are you a
license.
valid driver? Quote, I am not.
Here's the part that was disturbing for me, so that you know.
So you know
Okay.
what, this is all.
Mr.
this
Harris
is,
indicated
in
that
a
at
circus
some point he
atmosphere.
had been
It's-
involved
in
in
my
something.
opinion, it's an affront to the justice
And
system.
being involved into the
I mean, I've been
accident, that
prosecutor
he
for more
was
than 30
basically
years.
bedridden or at least
And to see
housebound.
this kind
he
of
could not
hoopla
get to the
around a
Secretary of
driving while
State.
license suspended case is ridiculous. And it
That
wasn't
was
caused
set
by
up.
this
I
court.
think
It
I
wasn't
don't.
caused by
I'm
the
going to
County Police
presume
Department.
because I
It was
don't.
caused by the extra
My knowledge
initial
of
statements
counsel,
made outside this courtroom.
Defense counsel is, I know you don't
Okay.
misrepresent
So-
anything.
go ahead, counsel.
Right. Thank you.
Never do.
Thank you very
Right.
much. Well, first thing I'd like to say is,
That's not true.
very first thing is we're here and that
He
we
purposely
all saw this
stated
video.
that he could
We
not
didn't,
get
I wasn't
to
in
the
court. I
Secretary.
wasn't even on YouTube watching the court.
Which,
today,
for the
right?
way we
I
handle
saw it
things in
because
this court,
someone
would have
saw
placed him in a whole
it
different
and decided to
category.
make
We tried to find a way.
decided to post it.
Let's
I can
figure it
assure
out.
you that was not
And the
Mr.
reason
I don't think he has the
know
capacity
that
to be able to post it like that on
is because
YouTube
Mr. Harris
or Instagram. So
on
that was
December
not him.
28th of
And it happened to
2023.
take off and go
Do you know
viral.
where
So
you
he
were?
had what we saw was him saying what? He was driving, which he should not have been driving.
23rd.
Right?
2023.
We're told not to drive on Zoom while doing that. So that's how this came to the attention because the court, I saw you.
I was laid up from
driving.
my accident.
And we all said that, everyone who saw that video.
And you were at the Secretary of State's office because you
and that just it became a joke. It became a complete joke. Now, with respect to
and got your new
what we want to do, and I cannot say anything is with respect to what my client has said. But when we talk about the
that's
hoopla,
the date you did it.
Start the hoopla.
December 28,
but he didn't start the hoopla whatsoever. That was someone that was outside of his control as to how it went viral. He had no control over that. And that I'm going to stand on.
The way I know that he's never had.
He did not send it out to Instagram. He didn't send it out
because May 3rd,
whoever. He didn't do that part. So with respect to
May 3rd, 1990.
Did he have I don't want to try this case today at all. But what I want to do is focus on what's good. Now, what was good? That day in October, this officer here, that could have gone a whole other direction. And I'm so happy that you were so kind and courteous to my client.
He has religiously.
Thank you so much. Because it could have gone another direction. We are here right now. My client has an appointment to go to the Secretary of State for his permit.
He doesn't have a license.
He's working on that. I want to focus on how do we correct
and quite
this
frankly,
and cure
I just
this?
wish
How do we
he
go
would have
forward
said
with this
that
situation?
at the beginning.
Whatever, he was
And
not
all
under
of this
oath under
hoopla
any
could
of the
have been
things that he
just put
said.
all
So we're not
aside.
talking about any type of perjury
And
going
we
on.
all go through the
Very
process
true,
as we do
right?
with all of the people
So with
coming
that being
here,
the case,
try to get him
let's
his
move
license.
forward with this. He
But
is
his
here.
falsehoods-
What I'd like, this is what I'd like.
Miss State
Because-
Counsel, let me just
Yes.
are not going to fare him
I would
well
like
in
to
this
move
court.
forward too
Yes.
on this case.
We
I'm
handle
done
these cases all
for now.
the time. I'm sure I will have
But I
something
will
else to
tell
say.
you, as you
Whoever,
know,
whichever
having
one
appeared
of you would
before
like
me,
to speak first.
the one thing I don't
I'll
like
wait
is when
till
people
Lance.
don't take responsibility for what
Yes,
they've
I
done.
spent yesterday.
When they
at the
take
Peachtree Township
responsibility
Police
for
Department
it,
with Officer
we will
Monis
use
here.
whatever we can to
Former
try to
traffic
get
stop
you
in the
to
States.
another spot.
I
Because
also
it doesn't
noticed
behoove
the
any of
December
us for you to be in that spot.
2023 date. And
One
I
other
noticed
thing that I
significance
will
of that,
say,
and the court
when you
just
say
went
it
through that
wasn't started with
painstakingly,
him,
and I thank
oh,
you
it
for
certainly
that.
was. It certainly
In
was
addition,
when he made his
At the traffic
first statement
stop, I with
to
when I was at the
WXYZ,
police department yesterday, we watched Bodycam
blaming people for
at least twice
this
during this
happening.
traffic stop. He
And he
acknowledged to
shouldn't
the
have
officer
done it.
that he did not have a
Because when
valid
you
license.
look at the whole thing, the
Quote,
person that
unquote,
needed to be
quote,
blamed,
actually, I don't
we
have
can
a
go
valid
back to a lot of other points, but I'm
The
not here
question
to
was, are
embarrass
you
you.
a valid
The person
driver?
that needed to be blamed
Quote,
is the
I am
person
not.
that he was staring at in the mirror. He didn't do what he should
So
have
you know
done.
what? This-
And
this
that's
is all-
okay.
all
The
this
majority of
hoopla,
people that come here on a
circus
licensing
atmosphere,
didn't
it
do
is,
what they
in
were
my opinion,
supposed
it's
to
an
do.
affront to
That's
the
like a
justice
given.
system. I mean,
They
I've
don't
been
go
prosecutor for
blaming
more than 30
anybody. They
years.
just say, Your Honor, I
And
didn't
to
pay
see
the
this
ticket.
kind of hoopla
Your Honor, I
around
just
driving
didn't
while
do it. I
licensed
just didn't have
case
time to do it. I
is
just didn't take
ridiculous.
whatever.
And it wasn't caused by this court.
Just
It wasn't
own
caused
it.
by Pittsfield Township Police
Once you
Department. It was
own
caused
it,
by the
then
extra
it becomes a
leadership
whole
statements
lot
made
easier just
outside
to
this
move
court.
forward. Thank you. Okay,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So-
I interrupted you and I said I
Thank you,
wouldn't,
Your Honor.
but.
Thank you very much.
My
Well,
court-
first
my
thing I'd
court-
like to say is,
No, go
no,
ahead.
I know who you are and I respect
Very first
that.
thing is we're
So,
here
and that
where
we
I
all saw
am
this
is where
video.
I've always been.
We didn't,
Because I
wasn't
can
in
assure
court.
you
I
that
wasn't
when
on
he did
YouTube watching the court today, right?
to
I saw it because
WXYZ
someone saw
it
it and
I
decided to
wasn't
make
representing him.
I was representing him yesterday,
I can
right?
assure you
And what did, and you would hear
that
my
was not
message is that
Mr. I don't think he has the
steps
capacity
are
to be
to
able
correct
post
this.
like
And
that
that's
on
what I'm about,
YouTube
Your
or-
Honor. How do we
or
correct
Instagram.
this?
So that was
right.
not him.
I understand
And it
the
happened
entire
to take off and go
process.
viral.
I have
So
not gone
he
into
had
detail,
no-
but I will
what
take the word
we
of the
saw
court
was him saying,
and
what?
Mr. Stiller here.
He was driving, which he
counsel,
should not have been
about
driving.
the background and the
right?
history of it.
We're
But how do
we're
we go
told not
forward?
to drive on
and that's
Zoom
why
while
I'm
doing
here.
that.
So that's
To sort
how
of
this
minimize.
came
You
about-
okay?
came to the attention because the court, I saw you.
He did get into an
Sit
accident
down.
driving.
Sit down. And we all said that. Everyone who saw that video asked the same question.
Right behind.
And that it became it became a joke. It became a complete joke. Now, with respect to what we want to do, and I cannot say anything is with respect to what my client has said.
And now
But
that's
when we
real.
talk
That's
about
a
the
real
hoopla,
injury.
I didn't start the
I-
hoopla. Perhaps
no
he's
comment.
made some comments, but he didn't start the hoopla
So,
whatsoever. That
what
was
we're
someone that
looking
was
for,
outside,
because there are
that was
some
outside of
options
his
here.
control as to how
My
it
client
went
has
viral.
indicated to me and
He
would
had
like
no
me to
control
indicate
over
to
that.
the
And that
court
I'm going to
that
stand on
he
that.
is in the
He did
process
not-
of
He did not send it
procuring
out to
his
Instagram. He
license
didn't send it out
or-
to
Hopefully that privilege will be available to him, but he does have, as you stated earlier, and I have the receipt. Did he have pay the reinstatement? I don't want to try this case today paid at all. That was out of the previous court. Those fees have been paid, and I've been presented with those receipts. That day in October, in addition, on tomorrow he's got his permit. That could have gone a whole other direction, and I'm so happy that you were so kind and courteous to my client, so that he can take advantage of the offers that are available. Because it could have gone another direction. We are here right now. My client has, because my client was in an accident, and I haven't seen the medical record, to go to the Secretary of State because of some of the things it could be. I don't know. I want to focus on sometimes our memories get a little foggy. Cure this. How do we? Am I going back to 1999? No, I'm not. But I'm just saying. Whatever, he was not under oath from these things that he said. So we're not talking about any type of perjury going on. To take the steps necessary. Very true. Right? True. So with that driver's license, so he can take advantage of the generous offer. He is here. What I'd like, this is what I'd like. Because, thank you. Yes.
Yes. I would like to move forward on this case. Yes, Mr. Handle these cases all the time. But I will tell you, as you know, having appeared before me, one thing I don't like is when people don't take responsibility for what they've done.
Who's Mr. Allen?
When they take responsibility for it, we will use whatever we can to try to get you to another spot.
I will,
because it doesn't behoove any of us for you to be in that spot.
Counsel,
one other thing that I will say, when you say it wasn't started by
prosecutors,
it certainly was. It certainly was when he made his first statement.
He has a warrant for his arrest.
The WXYZ about blaming people for this happening. And he shouldn't have done
Ellen Park.
Because when you look at the whole thing, the person that needed to be blamed, and we can go back to a lot of other points, but I'm not here
the shocking thing about
the person that needed to be blamed is the person that he was staring at.
For a driver license suspended.
He didn't do what he should have done.
Take care of.
And that's okay. The majority of people that come here,
well, like I said, he wants to handle
do what they were supposed to do.
That's like a given, and it's a valid warrant.
They don't
happen to be within their radius of pickup.
Your Honor, I didn't pay the ticket.
Now, having said that,
I just didn't. They will.
I didn't have the time to do it. I just didn't take.
I will say that when what should have happened,
own it.
I'm not going to go through
once you own it,
whether it did.
Then it becomes a whole lot easier just to move. Was arrested. When he turned himself in,
I'm sorry, I interrupted you and I said I wouldn't, but upon being released, he should have been apprised and released.
I know who you are and I respect that.
To go take care of it.
So
I don't know whether
where I am is where
I
really
I've always
don't been.
Care
because I can assure you that when he did speak,
all I know is that was back at mid-May,
that day,
and
I
it
wasn't
hasn't been
representing
taken
him.
care of.
I was representing him yesterday, right?
And
so
it's still valid.
Heard my message.
I was hoping
what steps are to correct this, and that's what I'm about, Your Honor. How do we correct this? Right? I understand the entire
if you had known
process. I have not gone into detail, but I will take the word of the court.
So much so,
and of Mr. Stiller here, brother counsel.
Part of my delay in getting out of here
and the history
was to make sure that it was valid.
And that's why, I'm here to sort of minimize.
Right before I came out.
So
that
he
if
did
it
get into
hadn't been
explanation
down
down,
and in, then fine, we were okay, and I didn't need to deal with it.
Right, but hold on.
But it's still there.
Okay.
So, will July 17th work as a new date for you?
And now that's real. That's a real.
As I understand it, he is right now not licensed. I have
no comment.
So if he goes in on Thursday, gets his permit,
what we're looking
drive for
because there are some options here. My client has indicated to me and would like me to indicate to the court that he is in the process.
I'm sorry, I didn't need to say that. But he knows how to do that part, but then he's got to go back, take the test. But he does have, as you stated earlier, and I have the receipts, he did pay the reinstatement fee. Those fees are paid. 45-day period. Anything that was out in the previous court, those fees have been paid, and I've been presented with those receipts. I just want him to have a license.
We all want the same thing. Permit test coming up, and then after that, so the 17th, it may not be me, it would be he's working on it from my office, so that he can take advantage of the offers that are available. Because as you said, this court does. Okay.
I know, you'll never hear me say that.
And with that, because my plan was in an accident, and I haven't seen the medical record.
I don't want to go through this whole.
But because of some of the things it could be.
You understand.
I don't know. I get it. So I started our memories get a little foggy.
What's my date after?
Am I going back to 1999? No, I'm not.
But I'm just saying.
What about
I don't
August
want,
2nd? We can
I'm
just
saying
put
from
it
this
out
day
and then he
forward,
can do what
he
he's
is
gonna do or
working
not do what he's gonna
diligently
do, but
to take
he
the
should
steps
be able to.
necessary to August 7th at 1 o'clock, so he can take advantage of the
It
generous
will,
offer.
I will set it at 9. We will send it in right now that we have your appearance, so you'll get a direct
Thank
invite
you.
from us as to what time slot he's.
Okay, and then I just need one moment to
yes,
talk to my
Mr.
client.
Say
You want
just
to tell me
one
something?
additional thing. I think Fletcher Cox and I need to approach the bench. It may involve Mr. Allen.
Who's Mr.
I
Allen?
know, because I know what it is.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, who's Mr. Allen?
That's my bailiff.
Oh,
I will give out whatever date I can.
okay.
Counsel, you probably didn't know this, and I wasn't sure where the prosecutor was going to bring. He's got a warrant.
No, I did not know.
Yes, he has a warrant for his arrest. A bench warrant out of Allen Park. Mr. Allen.
This case is a perfect example of how small decisions can snowball into serious legal consequences. What started as a routine suspended license issue escalated because of repeated poor judgment, inconsistent statements, and failure to take responsibility early on. The judge made it very clear, the system can work with you, but only if you're honest and proactive. Legally speaking, there was no system failure here. The court, the police, and even the Secretary of State all followed procedure. The real issue? Mr. Harris didn't complete the required steps to restore his driving privileges, and worse, tried to shift the blame instead of owning the mistake. In the end, the court gave him a path forward: get licensed, fix the issue, and move on. But not without consequences, including custody due to an outstanding warrant. Now here's the question for you. Do you think this situation was blown out of proportion, or did Mr. Harris bring this entirely on himself? Backhand index pointing right. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.